On May 2nd, get ready to escape. Isis, Escape from Transylvania. The goddess next door and John Haynes must escape a horde of vampires on the hunt in this horror-filled Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Escape from Transylvania in paperback and e-reader May 2nd. Recently, I got a chance to take a look at what Starfire would look like on the new Teen Titans show. And after taking a look at the image of what Starfire is supposed to look like on the new Teen Titans show, I can honestly say this character looks absolutely nothing like the character Mark Wolfman and George Perez originally created back in the early 1980s. Now, when people think of Starfire, they think of a tall, attractive, golden-skinned, auburn-haired alien from Tamaran who has model looks. And when we think of Starfire, we think of sex appeal and we think of sweetness and love. But when I take a look at this image of this African American woman who has been cast to play Starfire, I don't see any of the things related to what Starfire is or what Starfire is all about. No, when I take a look at this image of this African American woman, I see a woman dressed up in a dollar store wig from a Halloween store, and I see a woman dressed up in a dress that just doesn't look like it fits right. If anything, it reminds me of a fusion of Barney the Purple Dinosaur and a hooker on Times Square. And that's not something I want to think about when I think about Coriander from the new Teen Titans. Now, when it comes down to Coriander, she is supposed to be, again, model beautiful and a complete sweetheart with a smile on her face and long flowing auburn hair and golden skin. And I'm not seeing any of that in this image. Now, I believe DC thought they could change the image of Starfire to a black woman, all for the cause of diversity, but what they did was make the same mistake they made when they cast Halle Berry as Catwoman back in Pitoff's 2004 movie, because when I take a look at this costume, it reminds me of the horrific costume design that was implemented on that 2004 movie Catwoman, a movie that looked absolutely nothing like the source material and was related to absolutely nothing in the source material, because Patience Phillips was nothing like Selena Kyle, the slinky, lean cat burglar. And this black woman reminds me of absolutely nothing as related to Coriander, the sweetheart alien from Tamaran. I don't see anything related to that character as related to the source material. No, what I see as related to this image is, again, a failed attempt at diversity. And when you take a look at this failed attempt at forced diversity, you see a lot of racism behind the scenes as related to this image of Starfire, because I can clearly see the white supremacy as related to this image, because in their efforts to try to create this black Starfire, the Warner Brothers in DC Comics have passive aggressively changed a black woman's image to make her appear less attractive than her white female counterparts. And that's not really fair to the Coriander character, because Raven looks just like Raven on the new Teen Titans, Beast Boy looks like Beast Boy, Robin looks like Robin, so why shouldn't Starfire look like Starfire? And the answer to that is, again, they do not want the African American character to appear to be more attractive than her white female counterparts, because as it relates to white supremacy, they always want the white female to be the most attractive person in an image, the image that is supposed to appear to be the most desirable female, and that really runs counter to what Starfire was all about, because Starfire in the new Teen Titans is supposed to be the sexiest woman in the new Teen Titans. She's supposed to be the most attractive woman on the new Teen Titans. Yet the image of Starfire in the TV show has none of that attractiveness or sex appeal. I've seen cosplayers play Starfire and do a better job with their costumes than the costume presented on this CW show. Now, I know these CW shows and these television shows have small budgets, but there was no excuse to design a costume and a look this bad for one of DC Comics' most attractive women. When you come out here and you want to try to sell a series, you think you would want to take the most attractive character and cast the most attractive actress, regardless of their race. Someone who fits the character, someone who fits the source material, someone who appeals to an audience. But when I look at this African American woman, again, she does not have any of the traits as related to Coriander, or you would think of related to Coriander. And that's not just with skin tone, but that's also with the look of her face, her personality. I'm not seeing any of those things that make me say Starfire in the same way I look at a Marvel Studios character and I can immediately see, even though there are cosmetics changes with that character, I can say that that's Thor, that's Iron Man, that's Captain America. And the same way I could say for Beast Boy, Raven, and Robin, I could say that those were that character, but I can't say that as related to Starfire, and that's really a bad thing to start with when you're introducing a new show. Now, this is the latest fumbled football from Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers has dropped a lot of footballs as related to their superhero adaptations. And the reason why they keep dropping the football as related to their superhero adaptations is the fact that they never make an effort to stay true to the source material unless it's Batman. Now, in most cases, they're always trying to find a way to change the source material or modify the source material or change the story. And usually when they try to do this, they usually fail miserably, just like they did with Batman v Superman, and just like they did with Justice League, and just like they did with Superman, Man of Steel. I look at Teen Titans and I see the same type of mistakes being made like they did in those movies, and like they're doing on CW shows like Black Lightning and Arrow. They keep trying to change the characters instead of letting the characters stay true to themselves. Because if they let the characters stay true to themselves, then maybe they would have some of the success that Marvel Studios has with many of their projects. When I look at this project, I don't see a project that's really getting me excited for it. I see a project that really looks slapped together, rushed together, and that doesn't look like something that's very exciting. And the fact that they keep not staying true to the source material does not give me an incentive to go watch it, because I look at this image of Starfire, and it's something that makes me say, this isn't Teen Titans. This is somebody trying to do Teen Titans on the lowest budget possible, and it has to be a really low budget if you're going to slap together such a terrible costume and such a terrible look altogether, because there is nothing sexy about this Starfire, nothing attractive about this Starfire, and nothing there to really get you interested in this Teen Titans show the way many people were interested in the original Teen Titans animated series back in the early 2000s. Now, usually when it comes down to this Starfire character, she's an essential piece to the series, and with them trying to make her less attractive, it's really not going to help things, because when you look at Starfire, she has this relationship with Dick Grayson, Robin, and again, this doesn't really help things because this relationship is critical to the series. So again, you would think they would want to cast the most attractive actress possible and put her in the most attractive light, because that relationship between Dick Grayson and Coriander is an essential part of the Teen Titans mythos and an essential part of the series. But because DC Comics and Warner Brothers were caught up in a diversity angle, what they did was they derailed their series and one of their critical storylines, because it's hard to root for a woman who is presented this way in the worst costume possible and the worst wig possible, and believe that she's going to be able to have a relationship with one of DC Comics' most popular characters. So by being white supremacist, they've literally tripped over their own feet and sabotaged their own series. Because when I take a look at this Starfire again, I don't see someone who you'd want to see in a romantic relationship with Dick Grayson, because this character is nothing like the character in the source material, and this character looks like nothing like the character in the source material. Now, when I think of Starfire again, she's supposed to be model beautiful, and somebody's supposed to be way out of Dick Grayson's league, but in spite of their differences, they found love with each other, and it was Corey's love that is supposed to encourage Dick Grayson to finally move forward and stop being Batman's sidekick Robin as he leaves the Titans and become his own man, Nightwing. Now, I don't really see how that's going to be possible with this complete miscasting and this completely bad costume, because again, this character is supposed to be presented a certain way because she's a critical player in the series, and when DC Comics not presenting the right actress in the right way, it's really going to trip up this series momentum when it hits the air. Now, when I look at this Teen Titans series, I'm not expecting much from this, but all I'm seeing is another disaster from DC Comics and Warner Brothers, and I'm wondering, when are they ever going to produce something that makes you get excited for it and makes you want to go out and watch it? Because when it comes down to these Warner Brothers adaptations of DC characters, they seem to always trip over themselves, shoot themselves in the foot, and prevent themselves from having success because they want to cut corners and they want to make changes when these stories are legendary and they don't need changing. All they need you to do is translate the comics into pictures on the screen. If you'd like to try some of my SJS Direct publications like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, The Temptation of John Haynes and the Spinsterella trilogy, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.